Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Get Loud with Leadership. Today, I am joined by two of our recently graduated seniors who are now stepping into their freshman year of college. We have Kennedy Washington, one of my old co hosts, and Peyton Ashley. So, first of all, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you all. I thought, I missed y'all so bad when you graduated. But okay, I wanted to start off asking so like the viewers can get a little context. Where are the two of you going to college? You're going to separate colleges. Where are you going, Kennedy?
So I'm going to Southern, right down the street here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
So I graduated from Liberty Mountain High School, and in the fall, I'll be attending Xavier University of Louisiana.
Okay, so we've kind of got like two different perspectives there. We've got Kennedy, you're staying real close to home.
Real close.
You're right down the
10
street.
minutes.
And then Peyton, you're not moving out of state, but it's still
Like an hour away.
an hour
Mhm.
away, so it's leaving home. So I wanted to ask you, starting off, how does it feel taking that first step of kind of independence away from home, and you're not necessarily having like your parents or like your community all around you and easy to access like that?
Right now I feel pretty good about it. I know a lot of people get a lot of anxiety about like being away from their parents. I grew up majority of the time I was a only child, and me and my brother, we have an 8-year gap. So our intermediate family is pretty small. So I am not too scared to go and venture out, because that's what college is for. It's about independence and having that freedom, and it's going to help me change and develop into the woman I want to be. So
Yes, I love that. And then Kennedy, on the other hand, for you, how do you feel like you're going to retain that sense of independence that often comes with college? And how do you think you're going to find that being so close to home?
For me, I feel like I'm also like Peyton. Like I do not like being away from my family at all. Even like a trip away, like the night after I'm ready to go home, like I can't be here anymore. But I think for me, I kind of just keep the idea that it's okay. Like this is just an investment, and I'm staying in the house right now to save money, to invest into my future. So when I'm thinking like, dang, maybe I should have moved away, maybe I should have gone to college out of the state or out of the city, got some sense of independence. I'm like, you know what? That's okay, because if it was in God's plan, it would have happened, and this is going to be the best, and this is an investment to my future. And later on, I'll be able to move out and, gain that sense of independence like everyone else.
Yes. And, with that sense of independence, it also comes like a new sense of discipline that you have to form. So, what have you guys been doing to prepare yourself and to prep that sense of discipline that you're going to need in college life out on your own?
Mm.
do you want me to answer first?
Yeah, you can answer first.
Okay, so I feel like school-wise for me, I was like in high school, I was pretty like disciplined. Like I graduated as the valedictorian, so like I didn't really need to be disciplined to do my schoolwork. But I think for me, going to college, there's going to be a lot of distractions. So, in my opinion, like I feel like I'm necessarily like preparing for the distractions, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to keep in my mind that the reason you're going to college is to further your education. So that needs to be the priority.
That's really good. Yeah. For me, I think I'm not a big partier. I've never been a big like going out type of person. I think what I struggle with when it comes to distraction is like having a job, making money on the side and everything. I feel like that was probably one of my biggest struggles in high school. Even though I do think I persevered through that, I was able to maintain, my GPA, graduate top 10 of my class, whatever. But in college, I'm one of those people, I'm looking to network, I'm looking to further my business, found some advantages that I can take staying at home to make money basically. And so I think that's probably going to be one of my biggest challenges with staying disciplined with schoolwork is just, not really venturing off too much into that, field. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think you brought up like a great segue, wanting to network and wanting
Yeah.
to kind of like get to know people and
Mhm.
expand your social circle in
Right.
college, because that's a big part of it. How do you guys, what's your plan, or what are your feelings on balancing that I'm here for my education, because you are, and also I'm here to learn life skills outside of my education and how to work with other people from all across the country and
Right.
sometimes even from all across the world?
Mhm.
Well, for me, I would say like, well, when I go to Xavier, I plan to be like actively involved. Like, I want to join student government and do all those things. So I think the balance would be like, at the end of the day, school comes first. But like, so I guess for me, it would be like 75% school and then like 25% like everything else. But I feel like Xavier is, their courses are very rigorous, like regardless. So I feel like everyone there is probably going to have like kind of the
Challenges.
that
Yeah.
the school comes first. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. So, how do you feel, or what's your plan on managing that I'm here for my education type mindset, and also I'm here to network and learn about people and life skills?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I definitely have been installing like that mindset of I want to surround myself with people that are like-minded, people that I look up to. Like, I don't want to surround myself with someone just like me, but I want to surround myself with someone I can look at and be like, that's where I want to be. You know, that's an inspiration. You know, she's on top of her stuff. I need to keep up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm definitely gonna look to be around people like that. And also with networking, I feel like I learned this very early on in life. Networking can get you into a lot of spaces that you would have never thought you would have been in. It can open a bunch of doors that you never thought you could have opened. And I feel like I should make it 50-50 with like putting my education first and also networking, because they can correlate, you know, really well
Yes.
together if you know how to strategically, like, you know, do 50-50, you know?
Yes, I
Mhm.
like that. You keep giving me good segues into another topic.
Stop.
Look at you, my old podcast
Oh,
co-host.
guys, stop.
Like, no, but so leading into my next question, I've asked you guys about like your prep for college and what you plan on doing once you get there. What was the prep that went on behind the scenes your junior and senior year, and maybe even before that, that went into getting into college, the scholarships, the Common App, all of that? Any tidbits you guys want to share?
Yeah, you can go first. Okay, so first, I think the first step was kind of like defining what I wanted to do in life, because ultimately that's going to determine what school you want to go to. So I'm going for psychology pre-med. And so growing up, I watched a lot of true crime, and I found the psychological aspect of that very interesting. And so my like sophomore year, I was really obsessed with Howard. So Mr. Barry's daughter, Brennan. So I danced with Brennan, and so all her sisters, like a lot of her sisters, went to Howard, and me and Brennan were both very obsessed with Howard. But I think like going into my senior year, I realized that I didn't really want to be like that far from home. So that kind of dialed me down. And so then like all throughout the junior year summer, transitioning from that to senior year, I would go on like campus tours. And so the first time I went to Xavier, I wasn't really like interested in it. Like I liked the school, but like it was just, the tour was just kind of like, this is this and this is that. So my top two at the end of the day were UL and Xavier. And so like in December, my mom sat me down and we just talked about college, and that's when we decided like, hey, this is what we're going to decide, because you have to start like paying for stuff. And so ultimately I decided on Xavier because they create the most African American doctors. So yeah.
Period. For me, honestly, it's so funny hearing that too, because I do remember me and Peyton have been friends for like ages, right? And so I do remember we used to like play Roblox all the time and listen to true crime as we're playing Roblox. And so I think that's kind of what sparked like an interest for me, because initially I was going into criminal justice and everything. So throughout my whole like high school career, that's what I pictured myself, like that field of work. That's what I pictured myself going into, law, you know. So I started like interning, I started shadowing. I shadowed a judge, I shadowed an attorney, intern at the congressional office right now. Um, just a whole bunch of stuff regarding like law and everything. Um, and I kind of just did a lot of research about like schools and everything. But as some of you may know, I did initially start off with going into the military in order to fund my education and also for later benefits later on in life, like via home loan, stuff like that, stuff of that nature, whatever. And so I was limited to the schools of Louisiana. I was Louisiana bound due to me being in the military. So I was only applying to schools in Louisiana, and I preferred to stay at home because, for college, I don't want to break the bank or anything. And I'm not too keen on leaving Baton Rouge right now, especially being so young and, whatever. And I think that's kind of what hindered me in a sense, because I only applied to Louisiana colleges, that when it later came that I felt like God was telling me like, hey, you're not meant to be in the military, it was kind of too late, for me to apply to other colleges and end up getting like the scholarship money that people that applied earlier were able to get. So I decided to end up going to Southern because, my family are all alumni of Southern. And honestly, they had the best law program, between LSU and Southern. And honestly, I feel like from my freshman year, I knew that I wasn't meant to be at a really like big school because it was just like very difficult for me to, integrate myself into that, school. So I was like, Southern is the best choice for me, even though my heart did. I was with LSU for so long. I decided I need to do what's going to be best for me. And going to Southern, I kind of did, have this, sense of home. You know what I mean? It just felt like home. I don't know if it's because it's so close to my house, but I just really see myself doing really
right there.
Yeah, I really do just see myself doing really good at Southern. Like I really want to, get into SGA, maybe run for Miss Freshman, do things like that. You know what I mean? I have my family right down the street to help me with anything that I'm going to need.
And you got your leadership fam.
I do. And so so I used to regret not really applying for too many scholarships, given that I was, under the impression that I was going to get the military scholarship and everything. But I think it all happened in God's will and God's plan.
Now for my seniors, like as a rising senior myself, the Common App just opened today, and
it did. Oh my God.
Everybody in my class is like, oh my God, I have to fill out this. I have to fill out this scholarship. I have to input my GPA. I have to get these teacher recommendations. I have to do all of this. I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of my class is facing, and I know this has been a huge issue for me, is showing your individuality within your Common App, and not just putting the grades you got and the classes you took and all of this, but being able to show your individuality, whether through your extracurriculars or your essays. Specifically on the topic of essays, I'll get back to extracurriculars in a second, but how would you guys say, what was your biggest advice, and how did you guys show your individuality and show your character?
That's a really good question
through your essays.
Okay. Yeah. So just talking about Common App in general, don't like, just because Common App just opened, don't like rush Common App. Like take your time. Like it's not a rush.
First come, first serve type of thing.
Like it's not a rush. Like just take it in. Like, cause I didn't really start applying to, I think I finished applying to like all my colleges maybe in like October ish.
That's a really good time.
Just woosah. But I think for my essays, so my advice would be to look up, well, Common App has like questions on there.
Yeah.
So you could respond to one of the questions. So my
prompts.
Yeah, when my prompt was talking about a challenge I faced in my life, and so I talked about dance. So majority of my life I did competition dance, and unfortunately I had to leave the space because I felt like it was some toxicity. So that's basically what I talked about. And I feel like just essays in general, I would create, like I had 2 essays. So I had my Common App essay, and then I also ran for Student of the Year, and so I used that essay as well. So you want to have like a variety of essays that you're able to like tweak and use them for your applications. So yeah.
I really like that question because I feel like that's something I struggled with
Mhm.
really bad. And so me, ADHD, like when I see something like big and I'm like, this is important, my mind kind of like takes that big important task and like I have to like think about it. Like I can't just go straight into it. You know what I mean? And so when it came to the Common App essay, I was like, well, I want these colleges to be able to look at my essay and be like, dang, like that girl's smart. I'm going to give her that money. You know what I mean? And so I remember initially going into law, I was like, I'm going to write about, criminal justice. I'm going to write about the way the human mind kind of works, like kind of like a psychology type of prompt thing, whatever. I forgot what prompt I chose, but I kind of piggybacked it off of that. And so I kind of went into like explaining how I think the human mind kind of interprets success. And, that's how I went down that road, right? And so I remember I typed this essay up and I remember it's like the last day to apply for LSU, I think, but before like the not the last day to apply, but like
for early
decision. And so because I waited so long, because I'm like, I don't know what I want to write about. And so I typed this up and I remember it's 11 o'clock at night. And so I call my friend who goes to LSU and I'm like, can you listen to this real quick? So she's hearing me say this. She's like, Kennedy, that's not you. And I'm like, dang. I was like, really? She's like, that shows nothing like about who you are as a person or the challenges that you face and everything. She was basically telling me colleges hear so much of this stuff. And it's like they kind of look at this and they kind of throw you into the bin of everybody else. You know what I mean? They want to hear about you. And so I was like, well, I do have this essay that I wrote a while back. And it was basically how I ended up starting my own business, my baking business, and how it was inspired by my grandmother, who no longer is able to bake. And so the challenges that I feel like I faced with trying to start that business and like the embarrassment of like failure at first and start stuff like that. And basically how I plan to use that mindset of like determination that I brought to like, my baking business and everything on how I'm going to use that in college. And so I read it to her and she was like, that's so much better. Like that's an essay that I would like to hear. And so I think when it comes to writing your college essay, don't try to focus too much on trying to be something you're not, and just write about something that makes you happy or shows like something from the heart, or like a piece of your life that you struggled with, or a piece of your life that you're proud of. It's, just don't put that much thought into it.
Be you.
You.
I love that because I think I'm writing my college essay right now. I'm tweaking it, and a big issue that I had a lot was wanting to say like, oh, well, I want them to think this about me. I want them to think this about me. I want to make sure they look at me like this top tier student.
Yeah.
Honestly, your grades, your other extracurriculars, that stuff is gonna speak
for itself.
For you. That's gonna speak for itself. Your essay, I had to like step back and like I had to go to TikTok, read some other people's essays and be like, wait a minute, the essays that I really liked were the ones that were about these people's feelings, about their hopes, about past experiences that they personally had went through that couldn't be generalized just everybody.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important that you maintain that kind of authenticity and sincerity within your essay, because that's one of the rare moments that you get to really showcase
who you are to colleges and everything.
So I wanted to, finish off with, do you guys have any other like crucial, like you gotta know this tips for incoming college students or your seniors?
Okay.
Apply for as many scholarships as you can. That's all I can say.
Okay. Apply for those scholarships. And like, I think a lot of challenges that I deal with was like procrastination and like burnout from school. And then like I have to deal with this college stuff. Like, so I really don't want to do this scholarship, but like you need to, like, even if you do have good grades and you have a high GPA, you really need to apply for those scholarships.
Yes, because colleges will not just give it to you, especially Southern. They don't give out anything. But I would like to piggyback off of that, and also what I said about the whole Common App essay. Don't think that much about it. You know what I mean? Like some of these scholarships nobody is applying to. You would think everybody is, but everybody's thinking the same thing. Like, oh my God, it's too competitive. Everyone's going to be applying to this. Nobody is, so I mean, you could write 5 sentences and they will give you that scholarship if it's good enough. You know what I mean? So don't think you need a 3-page essay, like, detailed.
Yeah, Common
you
App
don't.
has a word. They have a word limit anyway.
They
so
do,
definitely
but for
not gonna take
scholarships
that.
and stuff, you don't need that much. You just kind of need to give a spiel about who you are, maybe a little bit of your academics and your what is the word I'm looking for?
Your background.
Your achievements and stuff, and you'll be fine. Just apply to as many as you can, and don't apply to any scholarships with no essay, please. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
That's a waste of time.
All those sites, bold.org.
Yes,
don't even
don't
waste
apply to
your
none
time.
of that.
Yeah.
None of that. But yeah.
Thank you so much. This was really insightful to me.
Mhm.
Like a lot of your tips on like the essay and like showing your individuality. I really need that, and procrastination and
a big
burnout.
one.
That's a big thing, I
Yeah.
feel like, for seniors who are getting stressed.
Oh
with
yeah, the
this.
senioritis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Girl.
I feel like thank you guys so much for these tips. And it's
Yeah.
just like it's good to see like people who like made it through this part of like senior year and who are venturing into that next part of college. So I wish you guys the best of luck in your next journeys.
Thank
and I
you.
hope you succeed and get to do all the things you want to do and
Aw.
grow. And remember, your leadership fam will always be here to support you. I'll always be here to support you. Like, I'm one call away. Come
Yeah.
back. Y'all aren't too far. I know you're in Xavier. It's only an hour out. You can drive back. And thank you guys so much for
Of
coming and
course.
talking with me today. Thank you guys for watching. And that is our episode of Get Loud with Leadership. See you guys next week.